dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke, and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom.
My dear students, today in geography, we'll be learning the topic humidity and clouds. So in this topic, we're going to study in detail about the concept of humidity and clouds and its types. Now here, as you can see on the screen, this is what is humidity, and here you can see clouds. And in our textbook, in the beginning, these three pictures are given in figure 3.1, and the first one, which is of Rajasthan, where the introduction or the description is given that it is very sunny today, the winds had stopped blowing, I foresee sandstorm, and let's go quickly inside the house. Yes, even I feel the same, come let's go fast. Two people talking there about the climatic condition. And in second one, buddy, it is very hot today. Yes, Soham, I am literally soaked because of the sweat. And now in the third one, children, come fast, wear your sweaters and then play again. Mummy, please wait, let us play, please. Now three pictures, three climatic conditions, and by the pictures or by the dialogues or with the help of dialogues, you can understand the situation there. So in the first one, Rajasthan, which lies in a region with dry and hot air, lies with dry and hot air, people wear loose cotton clothes. In the second one, Kashmir Valley lies in a region with cold and dry air. With cold and dry air. Cold and dry air. And in Rajasthan it is dry and hot. In Kashmir it is cold and hot. Sorry, it's cold and dry. So people cover themselves with warm clothes. And in Mumbai, the air is hot and humid. It is hot and humid. There, the proportion of moisture is very high in the air. In addition, if dark clouds cover the sky, the content of moisture in the air increases. And here, as we people are living in Mumbai, we experience this here. So in the discussions given in all these pictures, the word hot, moist, cool, etc. show the condition of the air. They relate to the content of the moisture in the air, but it is the major component of air which is taken into consideration while discussing the weather of any place. And for precipitation to occur in any place, presence of moisture in the air is very important. So whenever we talk about the weather of any particular place, then we talk about the words like hot, moist, cool. And in this, if there is precipitation to occur in any place, then the presence of moisture in the air is very important. Now what is precipitation? It is the rain, sleet, hail or snow. Now one by one we will study this in detail, and in this the first concept is of evaporation. You people are already familiar with this, that what is evaporation. Evaporation is the process of converting water into steam or water vapor. Evaporation is the process of converting water into steam or water vapor because of the sun's heat. Here you can see, because of the sun's heat, the water on the earth gets converted into water vapor. And the process of evaporation is dependent on the dryness, temperature and speed of the wind. But in simple words, you just keep in mind that conversion of or the converting of water into steam due to sun's heat, it is evaporation. Here easily you can understand. Sun's heat, and because of that water is converting into vapors. That is evaporation, and which is dependent on the dryness, temperature and the speed of the wind. Now, if the air is dry and hot, the rate of evaporation increases. The process of evaporation continues even in dry and cold air. On the other hand, evaporation occurs very slowly in moist air. If the velocity and temperature of the air is high, then evaporation occurs rapidly. And the last thing, if the wind is blowing slowly and the air is cooler, then evaporation occurs slowly. Here you can see wind, temperature and evaporation. Now this you have to keep in mind. If the air is dry and hot, then the evaporation increases or the rate of evaporation increases. If it is dry and cold, then also the process of evaporation continues. And if the air is moist or there is moist in the air, then evaporation occurs very slowly. Velocity and temperature of the air is high, then evaporation occurs rapidly. And if the wind is blowing slowly and the air is cooler, then evaporation occurs slowly. Now this is very important to keep in mind or to learn this. Then you can write that if air is dry and hot, then is equal to evaporation increases. In this way, in the form of formula, you can keep this in mind. Now the next thing, humidity. The proportion of water vapor in the air is called its humidity. Now this is the heading of our today's topic, and that's why it is very important to learn this concept very easily or to understand this in detail. So the proportion of water vapor in the air is called humidity. हवा में वाटर वेपर का proportion जो होता है, that is called humidity. The dryness or dampness of the air depends on the proportion of water. Air can hold moisture in specific quantity at specific temperature only. As air cools down, its moisture holding capacity reduces. So if it cools down, its moisture holding capacity reduces. It means temperature is the factor which is very important in humidity. This implies that warmer air can hold more moisture than cold air. So again, same thing I am repeating. temperature is the main factor which play an important role in humidity. क्योंकि टेम्परेचर अगर कम होता है, इफ द एयर इज नॉट वार्मर, तो मॉइस्चर नहीं होगा. And in other words, we can say warmer air can hold more moisture than cold air. At a certain temperature, the moisture holding capacity of air becomes equal. At a certain temperature, the moisture holding capacity of air becomes equal to the proportion of moisture present in it, and this condition of the air is called saturation of the air. Again, I am repeating this. At a certain temperature, the moisture holding capacity of air becomes equal to the proportion of moisture present in it, and this condition of the air is called saturation of the air. Here you can see water molecules move between the liquid and gas phases. Here, as you can see, and when the rate of water molecules entering the liquid equals the rate leaving the liquid, we have equilibrium. The air is said to be saturated with water vapor at this point. Now this is what is given in our textbook. Generally, humidity of the air is measured in grams per cubic meter. In what we measure humidity of the air, that is in grams per cubic meter, and when the humidity in the air is 0 grams per cubic meter, the air said to be dry. जब वो 0 होगी तो air dry है. If the humidity in the air at 30 degrees Celsius temperature then is 37 grams per cubic meter, then the air is said to be saturated. Now the next thing, that is absolute humidity. The amount of water vapor in 1 cubic meter of air is the absolute humidity of the air. The amount of water vapor in 1 cubic meter of air. 1 cubic meter of air में जितनी amount of water vapor होगी उसे absolute humidity of the air कहा जाता है. Now for example, the absolute humidity of the air near coastal area is higher than air in the interior. Absolute humidity is higher in the equatorial areas, while it reduces as we move towards the poles. Higher in the equatorial areas, and it reduces as we move towards the poles. The distribution of land and water on the earth and the seasons also affect absolute humidity. The distribution of land and water on earth and the seasons, जैसे winter, summer, rainy season. Now the next to absolute humidity, there is relative humidity. The amount of water vapor present in air can be expressed as a percentage of the amount needed for saturation at the same time, temperature and same volume. The amount of water vapor present in air can be expressed as a percentage of the amount needed for saturation at the same temperature and same volume. It is expressed in percentage. The amount of water vapor changes according to difference in temperature. ये तो हमने स्टार्टिंग में ही देखा है कि टेम्परेचर विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर इन ह्यूमिडिटी, अगर एयर ड्राई है तो उसका असर ह्यूमिडिटी पे भी होता है. सो द अमाउंट और द it is warmer, it also affects the humidity. So the amount of water vapor changes according to difference in temperature, and similarly relative humidity also changes. Generally relative humidity is more in the morning and nights. अगर आप मॉर्निंग में कहीं घूमने जाओगे तो आपको वहाँ पर कोई पेड़ रहेगा या फिर घर में पौधे हैं तो उसके पत्तों पे हमें बारीक बारीक ये ड्यू पॉइंट्स जो है वो दिखते हैं. दैट इज़ व्हाट इज़ नथिंग बट द ह्यूमिडिटी. एंड द फॉर्मूला विच वी हैव फॉर दैट, बिकॉज वी एक्सप्रेस दिस इन परसेंटेज, रिलेटिव ह्यूमिडिटी इज इक्वल टू एब्सोल्यूट ह्यूमिडिटी डिवाइडेड बाय वेपर होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी इनटू 100. तो हमें उसका परसेंटेज मिल जाता है. In the afternoon, as temperature increases, relative humidity decreases, and near coastal areas the relative humidity is more, and so the air is moist. In desert areas relative humidity is less. Next point, the process of changing of water vapor in the air into water is called condensation or densification. The process of changing water vapor, this one you can see. The process of changing of water vapor in the air into water. Water vapor air में water में change हो रही है, that is called condensation or densification. Also the process of vapor changing into solid state is called sublimation. So basic difference between the condensation or densification and in sublimation. In condensation, the process of changing of water vapor in the air into water, then it is condensation. And when the process of vapor changing into solid state, then it is called sublimation. If the temperature of the air reduces, its vapor holding capacity also reduces. Now here you can see gas or the water vapor, when it is in solid state then it is sublimation, and in liquid then it is condensation. When relative humidity of the air becomes 100%, vapor starts condensing, and at this time the temperature of the air should be at dew point. So dew, frost and fog are the forms of condensation at ground level. जब condensation होता है, that is what water vapor changes into water. तो उसके तीन टाइप है, एक तो ड्यू में चेंज होगा या तो फ्रॉस्ट में या फिर फॉग में. सो ड्यू, फ्रॉस्ट एंड फॉग आर द फॉर्म्स ऑफ कंडेंसेशन at ground level, while clouds are a form of condensation at higher elevation. So in this session or in the first part of this topic, humidity and clouds, today we learned about the concept of humidity or humidity in the air and the types of humidity, in that absolute humidity, relative humidity and condensation or densification and sublimation, dew, frost and fog.
Please subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications. So my dear ones, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.